I don't have a personal attachment to it.
I mean,
but I will say this. If this team was named the Washington Redskins,
play ball.
T-minus 15 seconds.
What did
Guidance
he say?
is internal.
What we need is an
12,
acoustic waveform
11,
and spectrographic
10,
analysis.
9,
Inside the 10.
ignition sequence start.
Has good job on the coverage, Jimmy.
5,
Harris
4,
says, I'm going to play this because I can.
1,
And look at the return he gets.
All engine running.
What a smart move by
We have the liftoff.
Outside B! Outside B!
That's not true! That's impossible!
So, hi, dudes. Welcome to a new and improved version of the Big Think Show. And as you can tell, OBS is going into forever. And I have more people in my room. Where the hell did they come from? I don't know. From left to right, I have the enigmatic Andre, and then Trent here, and then Derek's in the background, and he might say some stuff on occasion. Derek, you want to get in the shot for 5 seconds and let people know that you exist? You can't see. You can't see the shot. There you are. Okay.
Who? What? Just shut up.
Whatever. You know that during every Sunday, I get very mad at my Jay Gruden nights.
I don't.
And he doesn't.
I am a Cowboys fan.
He's a boys fan.
It doesn't matter to me.
He's in Jefferson County, which is the only county in West Virginia that's part of the DC area.
so you know this guy's very low IQ.
Just shut
It's like he's like we're just really we're just a lot more intelligent than his IQ is like significantly lower than ours, but he's entertaining enough to kind of just kind of stay.
He's a gum.
I like the Redskins.
It's Baltimore, not B-more. If you follow the NFL and a lot of my non-American audience is probably tuned out by now and just been like, nope, I'm done. I'm not doing a sports podcast about hand egg.
Well, guess what?
It's not a sports podcast. And if you don't want to talk about hand egg, there's an annotated there's timestamps in the video where you can skip to the appropriate topic if this isn't really a thing. If you don't want to talk about hand egg foot, then just blaze on by. What was the bar that we went to in DC?
Penn
Forget the name
Social.
of it. Penn Social.
Penn Social.
We went to Penn Social.
Shout out Penn Social. That place is awesome.
It is very lit, and there's a lot of very passionate DC sports fans in there. About 20% of which are probably on crack, and that's okay.
That sounds about right. Sounds like
Yeah.
is that an actual statistic?
I don't. I just observed most of the
2 and
people
4
in.
people in
I just
DC
observed
are
most of the
crack?
people in there, and I was like, okay.
2 and 4 people in DC are on crack. Just
I was just kind of like obviously drunk, crack.
They were pretty drunk.
It's like, huh?
What time of day were you guys?
It was like 5.
We went to.
It was 5, but outside
Yeah,
it was
Skins
like
had, the
it was like
4:30
10.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. But the
Outside
Skins-
it was like 10 p.m. because weather makes no sense right now.
The Skins had the
Like-
4:30 game, but the thing is, when we got there were already people there. Like when the game started, we walked in probably like the beginning of the first quarter. We probably like walked in the beginning of the first quarter, and these people were like, "Oh yeah, oh, bro!" We were just like, "Oh shit!"
There was definitely a guy in there. He was having a coke rage. He was like, I promise you, it did bring joy to me to see people so passionate because I can't experience that passion with all that mediocrity. All these years, as soon as I believe, they just take it away.
The thing about being a DC fan, like being a DC sports fan, is that
sucks.
it really sucks so
Yeah.
much unless you're talking about hockey, which the Caps, Stanley Cup. I don't follow hockey, so that was a little more difficult for me to follow. I just but it was such like a big deal, like when it happened that the Caps won the Stanley Cup last year, that I was like, holy crap.
We only followed it because they were like they were good.
We're
They were
relevant.
winning. They were good.
Holtby was
I,
blue.
I always follow
Yeah,
my teams.
Holtby is the glue. First
I
off.
always follow my DC.
I was
teams.
born in a very logical environment, Trent. To support
My
the
dad's a
teams
Redskins fan.
to support the teams
So
that
your
are
dad's IQ
local
did
to
not
me.
transfer to you.
Just shut up.
Well, we can't really talk too much because
You're not even in the playoffs.
yeah, the boys are doing a lot
Yeah,
better
but
than
you're
us.
one and done. The Seahawks are going to spank you.
I
Are
mean,
they?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I
if they
hate.
don't, then
the
you're
thing,
gonna play the
is,
Saints.
this goes on YouTube. So if they don't, then you just
They're gonna
lose.
play the Saints, and then you're gonna get crushed because you're gonna be in the dome, and they want revenge.
I just want to say, no part of me has said anywhere that us playing the Saints is going to go well.
It's gonna be like 40.
If we play the Saints after beating the Seahawks, oh my god,
It's gonna be 53 to
it's going to
3.
be a whooping of epic proportion.
Yeah.
If you know anything, if you know anything about the NFC East, it's infamous for just how contentious and bitter the rivalries are within that section between the Skins, the Boys, the Shitty Birds, and all my Philadelphia fans just quit the video. And the Giants. And I honestly, it's like, you know, that scene, I don't know how much Broadway. You guys watch any Broadway at all?
What are you doing?
You guys ever watch Fiddler?
I like to play cat.
You ever watch Fiddler on
I
the
was
Roof?
forced to watch.
You know the scene. Well, you know the scene where in Fiddler on the Roof where it's like, why does he could go up and he's like, why does everyone in the NFC East hate each other so much? I will tell you.
Because we look around and it's like, what?
I do not know.
Nick Foles.
I do not know.
You may ask, how did this tradition get started? I'll tell you. I don't know.
You guys have liked some of my tweets on Sunday, and many more have unfollowed my account. Many more have unfollowed my Twitter account on NFL Sundays.
I don't want to hold that shake weight.
But the people who have the shake weight, is that what you're gonna call them?
Hold this. Look at this.
That's not even what it looks like.
Look at this, man.
I don't want to hold that shit.
It's a mic.
What is this?
Stop.
How am I holding this?
Stop it. Here's the thing that I will give Trent. Here's what I will give Trent is that he is loyal to his fan base. He is loyal to his crowd, even though, unlike Jason Witten's dumbass, even when Jason Witten goes on to ESPN and he sees Zach Ertz whenever Philadelphia is playing, and he sees Zach Ertz, and it's like, and I'm like, dude, you have one job as a member of an NFC East team, a former member of an NFC East team, is to just not like
biased.
anyone else. Be biased as hell. Troy Aikman is biased as
Troy
fuck.
Aikman, it'll literally be like
all the time.
Spanked like 53-0 and be like, I don't know about this other team's defense. They ain't looking too good. It's like, but Jason Witten is like, oh my gosh, Zach Ertz, wow, he literally threw a block 2 yards off the line. Oh,
Yeah, it's like, stop. And it's just, it's gross, man. It's like, it's go. Bring me the chopper.
Zach Ertz is banging my
Go.
wife.
It's like,
But
stop.
he's not, so I just have to look at him and wish that Zach Ertz was banging my wife.
Oh, no,
Jason Witten,
no,
just shut up.
No, no.
It really is like that. The Titans game was very close. We had a very good chance of winning it, and it was just one of those situations. It's football. It's like we would have won that game if this. We would have won that game if that. It's football. If we would have won the game, we would have won at the end of the day. We would have won the game if we had scored more points than the opposing team. Like you can complain about the minutia of it, but he still put up, I think, a pretty decent performance against the Titans.
The Titans,
I think-
that's AP. The Titans is AP.
And AP, Josh Johnson and AP. I
That
think.
man gave the nastiest spin move I've ever seen. You should clip that.
I need to find this spin move.
When he pulled the ball.
Look at this man. There's a spin, yeah. He's nuts, bro.
Peterson. Oh, look at that spin.
Good news for some skin fans because my boy AP's coming back next year. Apparently.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's awesome.
I mean, who else is gonna pick him up? I mean, he's a beast, but
He's old. He's old.
I mean, it's impressive stuff that he's still, he's pulling a LeBron right now.
It was a narrow game except for a pick six at the end, which was rough.
But
And then Nick Foles.
And then Nick Foles.
1,800
And then
yards
at
up the middle.
that point, that was our playoff hopes, and everybody was just sort of like, see y'all next season. But let's try our best to keep the Eagles out of the playoffs. At least that's where I was.
Well, it didn't.
And then we didn't do that.
But that's not the reason.
And then we cut DJ.
reason it didn't happen-
Before that, we cut DJ Swearinger, who was a Pro Bowl alternate. And was talking about.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I didn't have that faith in me because I know this franchise.
Put the mic up to your
I
face.
didn't believe that.
I had
knew they were
to
gonna fail.
watch these men for the last 23 years. I know what they do. And as soon as they got rid of DJ Swearinger, they said, all right, let's worry about next season. They didn't even show up to that game. Josh Johnson was the only man on that field. It was like a South Park episode. He was all by himself, throwing the ball.
Was the only
He got sacked like 98 times. It was the worst game I've ever seen in my life.
0
Washington Redskins, go fuck yourself.
fantasy points, which means he got 0.
Because I put him on my thing. I was like, I'll at least get some points with him.
Peterson get 0 yards.
I had negative points. I had
Ever.
negative points with him at one point because he went back, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
This man lost 56 yards and had to rush all 56 back.
I put AP and Mark Ingram on my fantasy league, and Mark Ingram didn't do shit against the Panthers.
You blow up this team. You blow it up. You get rid of Gruden. Heck, if they could do the impossible.
That's Philadelphia backup quarterback Nick Foles.
Dude, is this man on crack right now? Okay, okay. Back to the Redskins.
I was defending. Here's the thing.
Excuse my crackhead friend.
Here's the thing.
But
Andre.
back to the
me and Zach, my roommate, who's not in the house right now.
He's only 29, dude.
I was defending Jay throughout the whole point of the season because I was like, look, he's in a shitty position. Like everything went downhill when Alex Smith pulled a Theismann 2.0, which was weird.
That's still not the problem.
By the way, it was a
big problem.
It was a big problem, though.
It's a big problem.
It was a problem,
but
it is a problem.
It's not.
Here's the thing.
Problem. It's not the defense's problem.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Right? Is that like this is what really confused me because I think you recall at least in the first few weeks when we had Alex Smith, like Swearinger and Norman love to talk trash. They're scrappy guys, and they love to get in it, and sometimes they talk out of their ass, and they just say stupid shit.
They still do.
And they always have, but here's the thing. There were so many games, there were plenty of games that we played in the first couple of weeks of the season where our secondaries were just pulling off crazy, like, miracle picks all the time.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you want to know what that team reminded me of?
You finish, but
it was the 2015 Denver Broncos because the defense, like Peyton Manning was just out there throwing a pick every 5 seconds, and that defense was saved them, and they went like 7-0. Everyone's like, "What is this team?"
That's why all eyes were on us. I think for like 2 seconds. Because everybody was looking at us and they were like,
"What is this team?
We're top of the division." And like even you and me, like we were like, we don't know how this happened.
Yeah,
we were just like, I don't know what's going on.
Hey,
Alex Smith got hit. It was all like I think I remember it clear as day. It was just like what.
By the way, Alex Smith probably is his career.
Oh, he's donezo. He's out. I don't think he's coming back.
I'm just gonna be real. Some Cowboys fans, they have been messing around with witchcraft or something because
we don't need witchcraft.
The fact that Alex Smith and Colt McCoy broke the same bone in the same leg,
and Alex Smith broke the same bone that Joe Theismann broke on the same day.
The evil witchcraft they used somehow brainwashed the front office into signing Mark Sanchez, Mr. Captain Butt Fumble.
The orb of confusion.
I don't get it.
It was the orb of confusion.
And like somebody in Dallas was like, "Hey man, we could take this division if we just use evil witchcraft and beat the rest of them
like Jason
through
Garrett,
magic."
Coach Garrett, I gotta play for you. What is it? All right, we're gonna take this voodoo doll and this cauldron, and we're gonna conjure up some spells.
No, this man Jerry Jones was watching Harry Potter. He was like, "Oh, well, that might just work."
Here's the thing: Max Kellerman would say it's because of our name, and Dan Snyder built his house on an Indian burial mound, and we're cursed.
Remember that time, Alex?
I believe it.
And at this point, I don't even care about the name that much anymore.
Remember that time?
I would if we started winning again. Egg kickers.
I'm telling you, there's some evil scheme.
If we started winning games again, we could change our name to anything.
They're not gonna let us win until we change this name. I'm one of those people that I don't have a personal attachment to it, so I guess I don't have the right to speak out on it. But I will say this: if this team was named the Washington
fire everyone, fire Bruce Allen, fire Dan Snyder.
Yeah, blow it up.
Dan Snyder fire himself.
Oh no, I don't want to do this one.
We're not doing this yet.
Yeah.
Bird Box.
Oh god. All right, dude. I guess, dude. I don't even know, bro.
This movie was not that good.
You're gonna talk about Bird Box.
Do some like short intros so that we can just start into it. I want to go first, bro. I have a lot.
First of all, let's get the obvious out of the way. The fact that Michael Jackson is reanimated and brought back from the grave to portray this main character. The fact that we had the science to pull this off is absolutely extraordinary.
Here's the thing about this film. I don't like scary movies. I'm okay with like crime dramas and like crime thrillers and like realistic kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So by the way, mild spoilers if you don't want to go, if you want to go in blind.
If you're crazy,
if you want no
barrier for that.
If you want to go in blind to the movie,
don't watch this part. But if you're crazy, well, it's too late for that.
It's too late.
It's like, I'm sure some of y'all watch like anime, and here's the thing, like if you watch
the Evangelion reference.
Yeah, if you watch Evangelion. Or if you watch,
you need to have a really high IQ
to.
You need to have a really high IQ to watch Evangelion.
No,
but
that's not even the problem. It's not me. What was the problem with that? When you got to the end, what happened? They got to like almost the end, and then they were like, "Yo, what if we had this really good thing, and we just threw it all in the garbage?" And that's what happened with
Good. Darling in the Franxx was good.
It was awesome.
Trent, this show
it was
is literally about.
And then on episode 19, they were like, "What if we made it horrible?" Like, what if this awesome show, we ruined it all? And
here's what the show's about. For anyone who's, shut up.
I like Pink Hair.
Hey, what are you looking up, man?
This is the show.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
What do you mean? What am I looking up?
Okay, that's not the point. The point is that Darling in the Franxx and Evangelion were like.
Wait,
like and then
no, you can't cut me off because you've been talking all day.
I didn't finish.
You've been talking. No, you haven't. You started and you never finished.
My problem is
I'm gonna interrupt you.
These were good, and then at the end they were like, "What if we ruined it all by being really bad?" And that's what happened. Like Bird Box is like Stephen A. No, Bird Box is like Stephen A. It's like this is very, very bad.
What was that? You remember that movie with it was directed by George Clooney, had Matt Damon in it, Suburbicon?
I liked it.
I like Suburbicon.
I don't know why people were mad at it. I thought the movie was good.
It was pretty intense. It wasn't
the best movie ever, but
it's the same level of like Bird Box, where it's like the subject material is like so like, oh my god. So if you're not familiar with the premise of the movie,
I feel like that's the problem.
If you're not familiar with the premise of the So what happens?
You can't do that. That's racist.
So what happens in Bird Box? The premise of Bird Box is basically like you have horror movies where it's like A Quiet Place. You can't talk, right? Or you can't see, or you can't hear. Bird Box is you can't see.
A Quiet Place was also alright.
Basically, what happens? It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing where a whole bunch of monsters like descend upon planet Earth.
Correction.
And
we don't know if it's monsters.
Well, we don't know if it's monsters. We don't know if it's a fucking.
Yeah, they don't tell us fucking.
We don't know if it's like some supernatural like thing or whatever.
That's why it's not a horror movie.
We don't know how many of them there are. We don't know why they're here.
Oh no, this big bad air.
But basically, if you look at
the wind,
no air.
No, not the air.
Not air.
If you look at the air, if you look at the evil air, it compels people to kill themselves. Like that's what it does.
But
that's
not always.
But not all of them. Not all people. If you're crazy, if you suffer from psychiatric illnesses,
I actually have an explanation for this one. So
if you're crazy, which we don't know what crazy is, then you can see whatever the heck it is that literally we don't even get to see, and it's just fine. You're like, oh, it's beautiful. Look at this.
It's very graphic. It's very intense. Like people die gruesomely.
But we don't ever see any of it.
We don't understand why this happens. It just is. It's part of the film. It's the film mechanic, and the film just works with it. And my main problem with it is that not necessarily. I don't have a problem with.
This is stupid.
I don't have a problem with the premise of the movie itself as much as I have a problem with how, like, if you're gonna set up like a really dramatic rule set like this for your film, you have to at least follow the rule set like through the movie, and they didn't really do a good job at doing that. Like,
they just had MGK
again, spoilers.
Like, oh, I'm gone.
Spoilers. So why does this guy, Gary, the British dude, how is he able to like conceal the fact that he's not crazy for like however long, and then he goes ape shit, and then he like tears down all the shit on the house.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
that was even worse than like saying you're crazy so you're fine is one thing. Being like, he's not even crazy. This man just like pretended, and now he's crazy again, and is going to make you.
Where are the monsters? Why is it that sometimes you can like with the one dude like Tom, he was able to walk outside for a little bit before the monsters showed up, and he was fine. How is it like sometimes the monsters do show up, but if you look outside, you instantly like you're fucked? Sometimes you're not.
Like,
Sometimes you
is it a
are.
thing? Is it somewhere?
Are the monsters nearby? Are they not?
Do you just look at the air and it's like, nah, you're fucked?
Yeah, it's like
we don't know.
it's
That's
like
the
it's
problem.
like
We
you
don't
look.
know any of
The
it.
movie definitely insinuates that it has to be a physical thing. It's not.
But
It's
does
not
it?
just you just look
Does
at
it?
the tree.
Because
No.
we only two people in the entire movie
You
see anything. Like Andrew kept trying to say that it was you see your worst fears. It's like we don't even know you see your worst fears.
That's what it is. That's
One girl saw her mom and one girl saw we don't even know what and just wrecked her car and that's it. We don't know anything about it.
Well,
We don't see it. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what it is. We have one guy making up a theory that he literally said in the movie. I learned this on the internet that he the end is coming, and that's what the theory on the internet said. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, screw you."
I couldn't tell if it was like it was akin. I couldn't tell like if the writer, like the guy who wrote it, was trying to do like a Rapture kind of analogy with it or not. I think that's sort of what he was getting at.
That would be one thing,
but it didn't
but
really.
He did it so badly.
It just I didn't feel. Here's the thing. On my first, because I saw it twice, not on my own will. I watched it the first time because I had friends over and they were like, "Hey, watch this," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna be culturally aware now." And the whole time I'm watching the first movie, I'm literally just kind of sitting there, just like, "What the fuck?"
That's how it was.
Like it's because it's that intense.
Until everything started
It's that
being,
intense up until
stupid.
the end, and then when you watch it a second time, like the first time after I watched it, I was like, "Holy crap, I need a drink after that," because that was an emotional drain. The first time I watched it, and then the second time I watched it, me and Marcus and his friends were just clowning on it the whole time.
Oh, this lady,
because
we
we're just like.
This lady was like, "Oh, somebody's got to look and die," and then literally 5 seconds later, and then it was like, "No, I'm gonna save my kid and make your kid do it," and then not even 5 seconds later is like, "Nobody's gonna look. We're gonna wing it."
In the first viewing, in the first 20 minutes or so, when I realized like what the premise was, it's like, okay, look at the thing die. I was like, local blind man, unsure what the big deal is. I made a joke. I tweeted that. I tweeted it as I was watching it. I was like, little did I know, but that's literally what the ending of the movie was going to be about. And I was just like, I fucking called it.
Local blind school literally
I fucking called that shit. Because, like, realistically, that's the most, like, practical way to deal with this situation. If you really think about it. Right? I mean, if you're born blind already, like, you're good.
The best way to do it is...
I'm not saying I'd gouge my eyes out. You know, but if it got that bad,
you know what you gotta do? You gotta do.
I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised there wasn't like a cult of like survivors, you know, that were like, oh hey, you know, we cut ourselves off and now we're good, and they're trying to like go around and like help people out or whatever.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I've heard.
No, there was just random dudes
who were. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, fuck you." And they were like, "Whoa, fuck you."
It's just random. It's just random dudes.
Yeah, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's just random people just going around. It's just like, hey, look at the thing, and it's like, okay,
hey, what thing?
Like,
it's beautiful. What's it look like?
What does it look like?
Hey, it's beautiful.
Wow, it must look really fucking beautiful.
It was like, look at it, it's beautiful. Oh.
Why?
Yes, no. Later.
Hey,
Yeah.
but back
to
to what you were saying, Greg, about people cutting them off. I've heard a lot of people complain about that. Why wasn't there a group of extremists that like gouged their eyes out and just cut themselves off? That would have
been freaky. That would have been cool.
Yeah, and it's like, oh well,
they
we don't see it all.
Like whole ass things around their head. Even they didn't have to gouge their eyes out. They could have done something.
Well, that's all I'm trying to say.
They didn't have that. They were just like, hey, crazy
ending of the movie.
Yeah, an
people were like,
extremist
I'm gonna
cult.
kill you.
An extremist
by
cult
making you look at something.
Gouge their eyes out because they don't even want to risk the chance of even seeing their worst fears.
You know what it was? Everybody had to look at the Redskins salary cap next year.
That's accurate. This man Tom was the best character in the whole movie.
No, he wasn't.
Nah,
that old dude, that old little like bald white dude with the shotgun.
No, yeah.
John Malkovich.
That is another
best
thing.
Character.
Why did no one listen to Douglas?
This man was right.
No one listened to John Malkovich.
Every single thing he said the entire movie, he was right about. And they
That's true. All you had to do was listen to John Malkovich. All you had to do was shoot. You just shot the guy, shot the crazy dude.
They didn't listen to him one time, and every single time they didn't listen to him, it went wrong.
Yeah.
And then he his shit happens, and the thing happens with him,
Man,
Your voice is projecting behind the mic.
This
You
one,
need to take the mic and like kind of.
yeah,
sorry. No,
this
sorry.
one can just be summed up as simple as this: don't believe the hype. The movie is
It's not hype.
it's
all right.
run-of-the-mill horror movie.
It's not even alright.
It's nothing special.
Because you're just gonna watch it and be like, "This is kind of cool." And then
Shout out
Like-
to a good horror movie on Netflix, Annihilation, starring Natalie Portman. Good movie,
What?
great visuals. The guy who did Ex Machina did that movie. It's
Yeah,
very
definitely
good.
watch
X-
that.
yeah, what's
Yeah,
X
go
Machina
see
like
it.
good?
That ending. If you thought,
I did.
it's
I don't know
weird.
what X Machina
It's based off a book series, and I don't know if it's ever going to because it
Apparently,
failed.
this was a book first too.
Yeah.
Well, I hope the book was fucking better.
But all I'm trying to say is Annihilation. They tried to put it in theaters. It didn't do well. It went on Netflix. Like critics loved it, fans loved it. It was a good movie. It's just a shame that it didn't really work out box office wise. But I say
Sound like
go
you're
see
giving
it.
an apology speech.
I know, but I'm saying go see it, man. Just go see it. It's a good movie.
There's better stuff out there.
Alright, let's go to the next shit.
So there.
It's based off of World War II and be like, yeah.
So to clarify, what happened when this
Here
trailer
we are.
came out was I was following this over the summer, and I'm a big Battlefield fan. I love Battlefield. I grew up playing Bad Company 2,
It's better than Call of Duty.
and it was better than Call of Duty at the time. And I really Bad Company 2 was a shit. Great game. Battlefield 1 I think was when people started to kind of go like, I don't really know about this. I felt that way initially because I wanted kind of a more purist approach to World War One, and what I got really was like if I looked at it as like okay, alternate like steampunk. Imagine this as being like a steampunk game, and everybody's running around with fully automatic weapons. Then I was kind of like, all right,
In 1920.
if I look at it past that, fine. There's just so much shit that's happening in this game that just really raises so many eyebrows. And you have to watch it to really understand where people are coming from.
Is this me or is this trailer?
I did not think World War II at all when
I thought it was a steampunk type of thing. Like I thought
That's
it
what
was
everybody
a
thought.
futuristic thing.
Yeah.
Bionic Pirate Lady.
Man, dude, I haven't even seen this trailer. This looks dumb as hell. Like, only because I know the context in which this game
British
is in. I'm just
paratrooper
like,
with
what the
a
fuck?
British paratrooper carrying around a katana sword on his back,
Ah, yes.
just cause.
He didn't do
Now,
this.
some viewers can correct me if I'm wrong, but these tanks, these are Churchill class heavy tanks, and typically the British tank doctrine for armored tactics was you had infantry tanks, which were supposed to move up at the pace of infantry. That's why they were called infantry tanks. They were basically like foot soldier support vehicles, and then cavalry tanks, which were much faster, that can move ahead of the soldiers. And this thing looks like it's moving about the speed of a cavalry tank, when in reality this thing.
Cavalry tank. It looks like it's moving at like 45 miles per hour.
That's what I'm
dude.
saying, dude. Like
That shit was like, bye, man.
This is a heavy
Fuck this
tank.
house.
also.
As fast as
If you
hell,
notice,
dude.
if you notice something, so this is a Churchill Mark III probably. I don't think this is a Churchill Mark III. I think this is a Churchill gun carrier, which was a anti-tank tank. Okay, so Trent, talk to me about stocks.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you look at this. This started basically with.
We're looking at EA stock chart.
This started with Battlefront 2. Back last year, I
Which,
think.
let's be real, we all understand Battlefront 2 just really screwed a lot of things up for EA. I mean, good God, did they screw up.
I really wish that was a good game.
But it wasn't. That's the problem. They did a bunch of things of like, what if this was really cool, but you literally ruined it all. And that kind of seems to be the trend with EA right now. I mean, dude, even Madden is bad with EA, but I'm not gonna go into Madden. I'm just talking about EA right now. Like, they've let's see, what do they have? They've been in trouble with like national governments for gambling, right? Because their loot boxes are so ridiculous that countries have been like, yeah, you're teaching people who are under 18 to gamble away their money, right? So they're in trouble for that, and they're still in trouble for that. That hasn't even been settled yet, right? It's like Sweden or something. Is it Sweden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belgium.
Belgium. My bad. What's their stock? They lost 24.5% in 1 month in October. In 1 month.
And they've lost more since then.
Yeah, and they lost more since then. So listen,
keeps going
I have a
down.
degree in economics.
It's continued to go.
So I understand just how detrimental this is. Listen, as a company,
this is the 6 month.
Yeah, as a company, it is absolutely unsustainable to even lose up to 5% in a month.
Can you translate these numbers? Because it's up here at like 143.48 USD, and that goes down.
All right, so that's their stock value, right?
Okay.
Every bit of stock that you're going to purchase from this company back when it was that value was what 143, or their peak was like 140.
In the year, it was about 148.
Yeah, about 148. Okay,
149 rounded up.
And that was in July.
July 18th.
This is half of a fiscal year, right? Because a fiscal year is every whatever business year you do your thing. I'm not going to sit here and give you an economics.
Since July 2018, it was at 145.
But the thing is,
if you look here over the course of basically since the summer of 2018, these are the worst numbers they've had
since they blew up.
But
here's the thing.
2 years.
It companies can. My dad works for Ulta. They are doing really well, extremely well. They've lost a little bit of stock value just because they've centered out, right? That's natural. That happens in the economic world. They've lost some value. What you can't do is you can't even sustain losing 5% of your value per month. That's not a sustainable thing. This is a company that in 1 month lost 1/4 of their entire stock value. Unreasonable. You cannot sustain that. The fact that EA is still even functioning in this new fiscal year is actually mind blowing to me. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think if they don't do something soon within the next half fiscal year, they're probably going to tank under and either sell themselves to another company or just straight up declare bankruptcy, because they might make a lot of money, but good God, are they losing so much more? You can't go from 148 down to what are they right now? This is 148 in July, 79. So in a about a 6 months time span, and they've lost about half of the value of their entire company.
Yeah, basically.
That is absolutely atrocious. Good companies that blow up, they can afford to take a 15-20% hit over the course of an entire fiscal year. If that means they're leveling out with a high stock value. EA is not. EA doesn't. $78 is not a very high stock value. Not for a company that's already peaked and is lowering. That is absolutely abysmal. And I mean, they're still stinking. They've lost what? They lost 0.5% today. That's what the NASDAQ says right there. They lost 0.5% today. You guys don't need to know all of the details. You just need to understand this is horrible.
They're trying to bank on this new game called Anthem.
But the thing is, they don't have supporters. They don't have economic supporters, and they don't deserve them because they've had nothing but economic downturn.
They're trying to bank
for the
on
last
a game.
6 months. Why would anybody as an investor if I had money to just throw at any company, there's no way I would invest in EA. They're part of their stock values that people are pulling out. They're selling it all off because nobody wants to be involved with them. Yeah, sure, they have a slight chance to make a comeback, but who needs that? Who needs to risk that? It's almost over, dude.
They're trying to do
Did they do Destiny?
Huh?
Did EA do Destiny?
No, that was Activision.
Destiny.
But they're trying to do Destiny.
Sorry,
they're trying to make a Destiny clone, basically.
Here we go.
And this is already. I mean, does this look exciting to you?
It looks like a game I've seen 18,000 times before.
It looks like.
I don't even know what game this is. It just looks
AIM...
like I could probably name 6 games, and it would, and anybody who doesn't know what this game is would be like, oh yeah, that's exactly.
And here's the thing, right? This is just a snippet of gameplay. Obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover, but I
mean, I can't.
I watch a game like Smash Ultimate, right? Just a competitive game of Smash Ultimate, and I can already I'm not a competitive Smash player, but I can see little intricacies going on there, and interesting gameplay that isn't necessarily being reflected in other games, and that's what makes Smash unique. And that's what gives it unique market appeal.
Shooting games at all.
What is that game called that Bethesda's Obsidian? Obsidian's coming out with a new game.
I know which one you're talking about.
That one's really cool.
Yeah.
If Obsidian's what I think it is, so I need to see it.
The ones that made Fallout New Vegas.
The Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yeah.
This looks fun as hell.
They clowned on fucking Bethesda.
They clown on Bethesda so hard.
Bethesda's a Bethesda.
There you
Well,
are.
they weren't Bethesda.
Wondering what's going on, eh? One question first. Are you feeling anything that can be construed as explosive cell death? No? Wonderful. Let's get started.
Okay, this is definitely like clowning on Fallout.
Now you'll see it.
Actually,
It's in the trailer.
you know what it feels more like is Bioshock.
It's like Space Bioshock,
Welcome to the edge of
which is
the
awesome. I mean,
the frontier
Space
of
Fallout.
space.
yeah.
Well, at least it was until
That's a
the
good example
corporations
of a game
bought it,
that
rented
does,
it,
like-
and
It's got the
started
shooting
selling it
corporation.
It's got a very Space Cowboy kind of feel to it.
And the rest
No,
of you fellow
it's got
settlers
the same
abandoned
corporation
on the
theme
edge
that
of the
Fallout
colony.
did.
I'd save them myself, but the boards
That's kind of
got
what
a
shooting games need
bounty
to do
on my
nowadays.
head.
They've got to stop trying to be
So
like the
that's
general
why I
Rumble
thought you
Royale
out.
shooter
You appear
and being
capable.
something with like
I think the problem with AAA is that there are a lot of people out there that are completely out of touch with what gaming audiences want, and it is Fortnite. I understand that Fortnite is like the new thing. I don't like it. It's not my thing. I grew up on Halo 3.
I've always hated Fortnite.
Halo 3 was like my kind. I know that it's introducing like people at a young age to gaming culture in the way that Halo 3 kind of introduced, like, I guess, you know, Derek and myself to it.
I hate to be that guy that's just like looking back in the past.
I love Halo 3.
Back in the day, like
Yeah,
gaming was so much better. But
The 30-year-old boomer.
I definitely got a lot of enjoyment out of Halo 3. You know,
I hate shooting games.
And a lot of
but I
good
respect
memories,
Halo 3
too.
because I understand what it was and what like
I
what
think-
it did for like this
and the
FPS
whole story that they had going, for,
And it had
like, the
story.
Halo
It
series,
had
yeah.
it had lore. It had writing.
Yeah, and it was good.
And it was
There's a
like
reason people get
people-
the meme where they like
people related, like people related to it. Like the whole point of Halo, basically, like, and I think the reason that it was popular in America, especially, is because American, especially guys, have a pretty big like cultural relationship with the military. And Halo 3 was very understandable and relatable for a lot of people that had military family or people that were trying to get involved in that sort of culture. Like it pretty much it talked about a lot of really important topics in that community that other games didn't really highlight in the same way. Like Gears of War was just kind of, you know, like,
oh god, dude, Gears of War.
Dom!
Okay, so
undoubtedly,
anything
but-
after Gears of War 3 was trash. Not a
Yeah,
single
I didn't really like
good
Gears
I
of
thought there was
much.
only up to Gears of War 4.
Gears of
No,
War
it's
4
like
wasn't that
5
good. They're
or
making the
something.
5th one, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
I don't
okay.
know.
It had a story. It had rich characters. It had a rich world. It was a cultural phenomenon, is what it was.
It kind of was.
And when you talk about games like Death Stranding getting popular,
Fortnite.
compared to Fortnite, it's like what game like what happened at the Golden Joysticks? We had I think it was Fortnite actually won over Red Dead. Yeah, Fortnite named Ultimate Game of the Year at the Golden Joystick
By the way,
Awards.
that's just dumb because I
Red
think
Dead.
anybody with integrity would be like, "Oh, Fortnite's really."
I don't even have the game, and I know the Red Dead.
Red Dead 2
Being
won.
popular training with middle schoolers does not mean shit. Listen,
Red Dead
my
2
little- I
won-
love my little brother, and he plays
Yeah.
Fortnite. But next time I see him, I'm still probably gonna like whoop his ass.
And this is the thing that this is where we're at, right? Is that best competitive game went to Fortnite. Okay. Esports Game of the Year went to Overwatch. Overwatch has been on a decline for years.
Yeah, hold on, why? This isn't even Overwatch.
The Overwatch League
Overwatch
is-
year was like last
What
year.
The
about-
Overwatch
what
League
have
is
I
a
been
shit
saying?
show.
But you cannot sit here and press deadlines super hard and then be mad if really good game directors are like, hey, what you're asking me to do is stupid and the way you're asking me to do it is also really bad. And then be like, well, you know what? I'm going to pick some random dude off the street to do exactly your job. And then it comes out and it's fucking bad, right? Like, how many games have we seen exactly that happen? All the time with mainstream ass games. This game too. This game, the Mass Effect Andromeda, is a perfect example of one. What do? They had nothing but infighting, and now it's ruined. Silent Hills, gone. Battlefield 1, right? Battlefield 1, trash. I mean, we keep doing it. Destiny, the whole Destiny series, garbage. Let's be real. People that really do in Hollywood, in entertainment, all together, like music, video games, movies, like just throw anything to the wall to see if it sticks. Just to see if it sticks, right? And y'all know it's true. If you hear this, you all know it's true. Because we've watched DC just be like, oh, Marvel's doing really good. What if we threw 18 movies together? We've watched Call of Duty and Fortnite just throw a bunch of shit.
Call of Duty 17.
Yeah, just throw a bunch of shit in there. Destiny literally was so desperate, they gave away their game. I've never seen anything like that. Let's be real. Have you ever seen a company just give away their game except
Battlefield,
for Destiny 2?
Battlefield 5...
Even if they knocked the race, they gave away their game.
And Battlefield 5 went on half sale like 2 weeks after it came out, which never happens for a $60 release ever.
Grammys lie about musicians. I mean, hell, what happened like 2 years ago? Wasn't it U2? Nobody listens to U2. They literally, anybody who had an iPhone, they automatically downloaded their album onto their shit and said, "Oh, we sold it." Smash does.
Let's. I'm
just kidding. Smash is
let's wrap this up. So.
Waluigi should be in Smash and not Piranha Plant.
I think this.
I'm done. Later, people.
I think this was an interesting experiment, and I'm gonna like the overall recorded length of shit that I have is well over like 3 hours long.
It's pretty long.
Just because we've been.
It's definitely going to get cut.
It's gonna be cut like shit.
He got wrapped up in the video game talk, and he wasn't about it.
He was not about it. Yeah.
Whatever. Just clip.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.